And happy Monday. Welcome to Plug Talk Sports live show episode 124. Your boy Danny Torres is back. This is my first show of the new year. My guys here, Jonka and Brandon, had a great episode last week. If you guys didn't check that out, it's all on our YouTube. Go check it out. They did a great job. But I'm back and we're here. It's Monday night, favorite night of the week, episode 124. Before we start, I actually just want to give a shout out right now. My friend Anna Tevdoradze, Janka knows who she is. I'm wearing her. This was a gift, but I'm wearing her national team jersey right now. She's from the country of Georgia. She's currently playing volleyball right now up at LSU. It's very impressive. She's a great volleyball player. And this was a gift, and I was just wearing it today, and I was like, you know what, I got to give her a shout out. This is an awesome gift, and at one point, when I get more space, I'm going to frame this. And Brandon, I think you should start doing this too. If Brandon and I both commentate, I started doing, athletes that I commentate games for and I work with. I'm starting to collect some of their jerseys.
Yeah.
And when I have space, I'm going to start framing some of these jerseys, all these athletes that I have worked with. So it's pretty cool. I actually have one from my time at Inter Miami. He's now in England. He sent me a jersey over. So I got a couple. I just don't have space to put them up yet right now. But just want to give that little shout out.
Nice, man. Nice. And I'm that SEC volleyball, man. That's big time.
It is big time. It is big time. I had the only question, and she was like, I can't believe this is the first question you asked me. First question I asked her, you would figure, hey, how's everything up in LSU doing, whatever. My first question was, have you seen Livy Dune yet? And how can you get me to meet her? I'll go up to LSU to watch one of your games and then try to meet her.
Someone said Livy?
All jokes aside, did you guys do bad or good first last week?
We did good first.
All right, so we'll start off with bad. Jonka, past week, give me something bad.
Bad. I mean, I haven't had really that bad of a week, to be honest. I mean, besides all the homework, and that's basically it, to be honest. I mean, just
anything you've seen?
Anything I've seen. Not really. I mean, I guess. I mean, I've been on a diet, so I haven't been able to have the food that I normally like to eat.
Yeah.
So that's like aching me in the back. And like whenever I have that one day to myself, I'm gonna binge it. So that's like the only thing in my back of my mind right now.
Brandon, you got anything bad?
Anything bad? I mean, I can't really complain. It's been a pretty good week. What I would probably say, though, the work hours. The other day, I worked a shift at one of my part-time jobs, 12 to 10.
Wow.
Yeah, terrible. A lot of people called out that day. They're like, just stay a little bit longer. Why not get the hours? And, like many of us here, we don't walk away from that grind. You know what I mean? So... so been a good week. Just very, very exhausting hours, I would probably say.
Hey man, you making that money though.
Guaranteed.
Making that money. For me, why I think it's bad? What do I have one, but I feel like it's not good enough. Screw it, whatever, we'll go with that one. NFL kicker. Actually, no, hold up. There we go. I just reminded myself. Brandon's gonna feel this one, but Sports Illustrated.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah,
man, just all of their employees being laid off. We're continuously starting to see this in the sports field. I feel like ESPN is next. I feel like a lot of people, and hey, don't be surprised. You might see someday soon ESPN cuts ties with Stephen A. Smith just because they can't, afford his contract anymore, or they just, it's happening a lot in the sports world. A lot of companies and streaming companies too are just taking over some of these outlets and just controlling what they want to do. But that's unfortunate. I just saw a tweet today of Sports Illustrated writer. He's like, hey man, like writing for Sports Illustrated was my dream, and I only have 90 days left. And he put his email out there, and he was like, whoever wants to pick me up, and I want to continue writing. It's tough. I have a friend. She's been on this podcast before. Alex Winley. She covers Inter Miami. She's a very good writer covering Inter. She has shared with me her personal struggles about journalism and writing. It's a tough business. I'm not gonna lie. Me and Brandon have gotten ourselves in a tough business, but at the end of the day, we both love it. It's a beautiful career, I think. And it's honestly just figuring the way out, man. You just gotta figure the way out as you go. But yeah, that would be my bad thing. It would be Sports Illustrated.
But then if it's like, okay, if I could just say one word about that.
Go for it.
Because I think the biggest thing that really, definitely pisses me off, though, I think it's also like a very corporate thing. You know what I mean? Because it's like the Arena Group, the company that does run and like produce like the magazine Sports Illustrated, and then the people who own Sports Illustrated to not have that licensing go together and just say, hey, it's over. Just like that, 70 years down the drain, is terrible. Unfortunately, it's like a way that print journalism is coming to. But I definitely feel bad, especially with my connections to other, places, not only here at Plug Talk Sports, but also in other different blogs or whatnot. A lot of people getting kicked off. And again, they will find jobs, though. They will find jobs. Of course, we're always praying for them. But I just wanted to say, it's terrible to see a corporate part of things taken over. And this is killing what the standard of sports journalism was for a long time.
I know it's not the same thing. It's not the same comparison, but I'm just going to relate it to how it made me feel. So this made me feel like the day I found out Toys R Us was closing. Like it's almost the same feeling. I'm like, man, there goes my childhood, like just closing. But same thing. Jonka, hit me with the good news. You got the little, hey, bro, you got a little mustache going, bro. Look at this.
I'm going to get my haircut tomorrow at Grooming. So if whoever don't know about
Grooming Barbershop, you guys know it. That's where we have barbershop talks. Shout out to them.
Now, I was talking with Daniel earlier today about something special for next week. Daniel, do you want to let him know, or do you want me to tell him?
I'll let him know. So, can you remind me of the players again, please?
All right. Well, I got him right here. So,
okay.
It's I think maybe former or he's still on the team, but autograph player Indiana Vasilev.
No, he's not on the team anymore.
Well, you got his autograph.
Okay.
And then we got a bunch of Miami players. You got Kevin Love, Sandy. You got Jason Taylor. He's on the UM. He's coaching right now. Tyreek. You got Waddle. And then we got Tua. You got Jalen again. And then we got another Tua.
Okay, so here's the punchline.
Miami fans out there?
Yeah. Here's the punchline. Next Monday, we will be giving all of those away to a lucky viewer. So we're going to be posting about it throughout the week. So from tonight to next Monday's show, someone will be getting mailed those cards. So you're going to – I'm going to come up with the sweepstakes for it soon. I'm not going to announce it yet what it's going to be, but it's going to be something. So if you win, those cards are all yours. So
maybe some extras I'll throw in.
Yeah.
Hey, I want some of those cards too, man. Those are like prime time. Tyreek Hill, I didn't even know about that.
I got you.
Brandon, hit me with your good news.
Oh my gosh, it's been a hell of a week. But honestly, good news happened a few hours ago. The big men of the NBA are taking over. I just came off of, again, I was working a little bit women's basketball, right, for Gators ticket office, whatever. But after an exhausting day, I come down, I watch Wembanyama versus Embiid. I'm thinking, it's going to be an insane matchup, something really, comedic, right?
Yeah.
70 points, Joel Embiid. That's the most in franchise history, the same franchise that Wilt Chamberlain was a part of, right? And of course, he didn't, Wilt 100-point game wasn't as a 76er, but still, he beat a Wilt number. You know how insane that is? Karl-Anthony Towns has he has 51 points or last time I checked in the beginning of the third quarter in whatever games he's at. Jaylen Brown is crossing up Luka Doncic. Like the NBA is on a whole different level right now, and especially the big men. So it's been a good week, man. NBA watch nonstop. And of course, Joel Embiid being a Wilt number. I mean, you can't really say anything else. You just can't.
That's honestly, it is crazy. I saw it, got to my phone, and I saw it. I was like, 70 points? Like, that's insane. For a big guy, that is insane.
Karl Anthony Towns right now with 3.5 minutes left has 62
right now. Bro, what,
Yeah,
like
62.
Did they call each other and be like, "Yo, we're gonna go for like 50 plus tonight"?
It's like Kobe Bryant had like 18 years to the day, 81 points. Okay, bet. Let me see what I can do.
Oh boy.
Oh man, good news for me. Let me try to think here. Jonka, you know my life. What's something good that's in my life?
Something. Oh, I mean, what we're doing on Friday, maybe, or no? That's
yeah. That's good. That is good. And there's something else. I mean, so we're going back and covering Marlins Fan Fest again this year. It's on Friday night. It'll be through the PlugTalkSports outlet. A little different this year. Last year was like on a Saturday and it was in the afternoon. This year is on a Friday and it's like 4 in the afternoon to 10 p.m. at night. So a little different. It's a little weird, the timing, but different. So we'll be doing that.
Yeah, the traffic's going to be bad.
It's Miami. Okay, and I got another one here. Last Saturday, yes, this past Saturday. As you guys know, I commentate all games for Barry University. Adrian Roberts on the men's basketball team recorded the second ever triple-double in men's basketball history at the school, and he did it with blocks.
Wow.
In a double overtime thriller. It was great. It was a really good game. Very good game. They've won 3 in a row now. So let's see where this goes. They have a good record at the moment. 11-6, 4-5 in the conference. Something I didn't know, and Brandon's gonna appreciate this because I know he loves basketball. Something I didn't know in that conference, which is the Sunshine State Conference. This is D2, of course. Barry's rival is Nova Southeastern. Nova Southeastern. What are you laughing at?
I didn't even know Nova had a team.
Well, you're about to be amazed, Brandon. You're about to be amazed because I was amazed.
Right.
They were national champions last year, and they haven't lost a game in 2 years.
Oh, actually, you know what? I think I did see that because there was a recruit that was going crazy in the Nationals perspective when he was going to transfer. I forgot the recruit's name, but I always associate because again, Nova used to be like the headquarters for like the Miami Dolphins and all that. So I always associated that with the Dolphins.
Yeah,
man. But
they haven't lost in 2 years.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Those Sharks, man. I'm telling you, it's weird. I'm telling you, Division II basketball. Because especially for me, when I was like broadcasting last year here in Gainesville with the Santa Fe Saints, Division II basketball is fun, man. Like as a basketball guy, that is the funnest I've ever had broadcasting a game.
It is fun.
It's so fun.
Very fun, but don't ever say that again. We gotta get some Go Buccaneers up in here.
Okay, go Bucks. Go Bucks.
Thank you. All right. This is gonna be fun. NFL playoffs. What a hell of a day we had yesterday. Oh man, I mean, there's just some people I'm like, will they ever get over the hump? Will they ever just do it? This weekend we had Ravens and Texans. We'll talk about that one first, guys. I think throughout that first half, I was like, man, Houston's putting up a fight. You know what? At the end of the day, I think Baltimore's going to the Super Bowl. And I will say, Houston, give them some time. Continue to let that team develop with CJ Stroud, bro, and they're gonna be the real deal. And for having played Baltimore, they did a good job with the way they played them in the first half.
Oh yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree. I think for those who don't know me, Big Truz, right? Not a Ravens fan, but definitely a South Floridian talent fan. I think that Lamar Jackson, it's got to be his year. I'm not going to say a now or never type of thing, but the way that he's been playing this season, the way Baltimore's defense has been dominating the AFC, I mean, it's hard to say that, they're not a favorite out of the remaining teams. But definitely for the Texans game, I thought it was really incredible to see that second half come alive for Baltimore. Just looked like Stroud and, the offense wasn't really able to find much production. But again, the Texans, and especially as weird as it sounds, the AFC South, I mean, it's a really tough division next year. That, to me, besides Tennessee, I'm really going to be shocked of whoever comes out of there.
Yeah. Jonka?
I was watching that game, and I kind of knew that the Ravens were going to start off slow because they had that extra week off, so they're going to be a little rusty. But I knew once they got their, they warmed up a bit, that game was going to be flushed out at the second half, and then look what happened. I was right. Bro, my boy CJ, he still went off no matter what, though. He's next. I mean, I don't think Tank Dell played, so he was kind of missing some pieces, and I think the defense was a little bit injured. So who knows if they would have been healthy, how the game would have gone, but I'm not going to use that excuse because, whatever. Yeah, Lamar Jackson, he's going to go to the Super Bowl. I hope he destroys the Chiefs because we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a few seconds. Yeah, Zay Flowers is him. Lamar is him. Gus Edwards is him. The whole squad is them. I hope Lamar wins because I've been saying it since last year and the year before that the Dolphins should have signed Lamar when he was free, when they were struggling to get his contract. And I'll say it again. If Lamar was on the Dolphins, no team could possibly guard that offense. There's no way. Either you drop in or you drop back. One is going to be a first down no matter what, no matter where you go. So the Dolphins dropped the ball. I can't believe we're talking about the Dolphins. Right now we're headed to the damn AFC Championship, but continue.
I just want to note two things. One is that Baltimore really eliminated the threat of any sort of run game by Houston. I mean, we're looking at Devin Singletary, who's not a bad back, played for Buffalo, was out of Florida Atlantic, used to kill FIU all the time. Only had 9 carries for 22 yards. That's basically nothing.
Yep.
They eliminated that run game. And then talking about Baltimore, is Odell Beckham really about to be carried to another ring? Because let's face it, I think in that year he signed with the Rams and he won the Super Bowl, wasn't really a factor. And then the Super Bowl, he had that touchdown and he got injured. And then now we talk about the Ravens. I mean, only 1 reception for 12 yards in the entire game. That's all he did. So do you think he's about to be carried to another Super Bowl?
I'm assuming so because I have him winning the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I said he's been washed. I mean, yes, he could be sneaky if he's like your third option, and you have Zay Flowers or I think I forgot who else is their number 2, but yeah, forget it. He's getting into the Super Bowl.
It's just at this point, it's just like a sexy, attractive name to you when it comes up.
Hey, man, I mean, if it's not a quarterback or like a big time running back, it's not gonna have a huge effect. I mean, have Bateman out there, right? Have Flowers out there. They'll do the work. Odell will get the ring, one way or another. He'll get the ring.
Odell usually just gets the attention because of his name and how expensive his cleats are for how many customs he makes.
All right. Next game that happened on a Saturday that we're going to talk about is the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. Guys, I have to admit to you, Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, they brought it. They brought it. They came to play. And unfortunately, it's so frustrating that your game comes down to your kicker. And they had a chance to tie it. Could have sent it to overtime. And kicker missed it. But I have to give credit when credit's due to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. I think that they started off the season rough. I think they got really hot towards the end of the season. And then they really played the number 1 team in the NFC really, really, really hard. And it would have been one heck of a story if I tell you guys if they would have eliminated number 1 and number 2 in the NFC and make it the NFC Championship game. That would have been one heck of a story. But they could have done it, and they played really well. But as everyone picked, 49ers going to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I mean, for those who have been watching this since last year, I'm not a believer in Brock Purdy at all. I think that I'm not saying that he had a bad game, right? We're talking about a game where Brock Purdy, 1 touchdown, at least completing more than half of his passes throughout the game, 252 passing yards as well, and of course on the card for good reason. So Brock Purdy showed up a pretty good throughout that entire game, but Jordan Love, it's just, I don't know if it's inexperience. I don't know if it's just a new atmosphere. I don't know exactly if it's just trying to extend that play down crunch time.
Yeah.
But the interceptions he had in this game, one of them, obviously, things happen. But the second one where he's crossing, throwing a pass across your chest, never a good sign, especially in desperation time like that. So I just think that for the Packers themselves, control the pace of the game, control timing of the game, offensive, defensive side of the ball. And then all it takes is 2 Christian McCaffrey touchdowns and then 1 interception, 1 bad drive. I mean, that's how close this game was. And again, all credit to Green Bay. They came into this playoffs out of nowhere and was a more, not going to say most effective team, but definitely, I mean, if they went past this game, I honestly had them in the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. Because if it's anything where, as Danny said, midway through the season, they got on fire. And I think that was kind of like what happened on Thanksgiving Day when they beat Detroit. They would have kept on going. I honestly would have believed they would have kept on going from the running game, passing game, on defensive side of the secondary. But in overall, San Fran should have never won this game. I'd be shocked if they stay in the NFC title game with Detroit, even if they're hosting. It's going to be a really low-scoring game if San Fran's to win that one. But definitely a game I think Green Bay should have had.
I agree with you. Jonka?
I told Daniel before the Cowboy game that Jordan Love, he's sneaky. And then, that happens. And then we head into this game. And I had a feeling. I had like a little right there. And I was like, bro, is this actually gonna happen, bro? And the game just kept getting close and close and close to the very last second. And then he has to scramble, and he decides to on a 2nd and 10, he just starts to throw it.
I don't think that was a smart play.
I was just like, bro, just throw it away. You still have like a minute left.
Yep.
You just go for another play. You just regather yourself. But he's young. He's young. He's gonna get better. I know with coaching he's gonna get better, and he's gonna really give a nightmare for the rest of the NFC for the future to come. So the Green Bay Packers have another him. So
Lions and Buccaneers. This is another one, guys. This is another one. Lions going to the NFC Championship game. They won 31-23, but damn, it's another game where I'm like, this came out of nowhere. The Buccaneers looked good, and Baker Mayfield was balling, absolutely balling. And I think just because of this game, Baker Mayfield should get a nice extension and get some nice money. He played really well. And honestly, they could have done it. Tampa could have gone to the NFC Championship game. I think the NFC could have been completely surprised this year. We could easily had Green Bay and Tampa in the NFC Championship game. And I think something Jonka said earlier this year, which is true, the NFC was wide open for anybody this year for the taking. But yeah, Lions, 32 years. They're going the NFC Championship game, and Ford Field was loud. I'm happy for Jared Goff. He deserves it. And Detroit deserves it. And as they say up there, Detroit versus everybody.
Yeah, but actually, before I even say anything about this game, I just want to say one thing about Baker Mayfield. I have been on this fan wagon for Baker Mayfield for the longest time since he's made to the NFL.
Just a likable guy.
Look, you're trying to tell me the guy that took the Cleveland Browns to the AFC Championship game isn't going to be able to be successful in the playoffs because he's going to be in the practice squad as a defensive lineman for the Panthers? I'm sorry, you don't know ball. You don't know ball. If a guy is willing to be in the practice squad on defense and throw balls on offense, that guy's the NFL guy. Love Baker Mayfield's energy throughout this postseason. Dominated the Eagles as he should. And then, of course, Tampa. I mean, Tampa's offense, when you look at the numbers, we're talking about close to over 400 yards passing. Rushing game was not really existent against Detroit. but it was there. It was attentive, right? And for the Lions, I mean, for those who know me, 3-1-3 till I die, right? At least in this season. Love Detroit basketball in a very iconic way, and I love Detroit football for a really beautiful way. Again, as mentioned before, 30 years haven't been in this situation for Detroit, and they got 2 straight playoff wins. So, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, from Gibbs, St. Brown, every single story. I mean, Dan Campbell breaking kneecaps. He just might be the last one standing. It was a great game. Detroit finding a way to win at home again, making it the loudest building in Ford Field. Electric for the last time this season. I mean, I can only pray that this team goes far. Again, not a fan wagon, not like a bandwagon, not even a Detroit fan, but it's hard to root against this team.
Do you think Detroit can beat San Francisco?
Absolutely. I think for the passing game that Detroit has, especially with Jared Goff, and again, this isn't unfamiliar territory for Jared Goff, right? Yeah. Been to a Super Bowl, honestly, he was a part of one of the biggest, offensive groups combined in the past few years out of the Los Angeles Rams. I forgot what year it was, but I mean, we're talking about a guy that comes with experience. Dan Campbell, the mentality of the Detroit Lions, where it's a Roman mentality, right? Just straight through the enemy, just straight through them. So it's a real possibility. And for those, as I mentioned before, I'm not a Brock Purdy believer. Do what you want, do what you will. I don't think San Fran's a tough team going into this matchup. I don't think they're a tough team even going to the Super Bowl if it comes to that. So I honestly do believe that out of any of the teams that are left, I mean, Detroit's got to be 1 or 2. They're definitely not a 3 or 4.
You got anything on that, Jacob?
I've been saying since last season, Daniel can back me up on this, that I told you the Lions were on the come up, and you guys were just looking at me like, Goff, Jared Goff, and I'm like, I said, hey, look out for the Lions, bro. They're sneaky. They just need a couple of receivers. Oh no, but to be serious though, the Bucks, I think they had a couple big drops by Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, which could have given them a significant lead, but they dropped them. So Baker Mayfield, great game. Now the question is Mike Evans gonna stay because his contract is up and he wants like $25 million? I don't know if the Bucks are gonna be able to pay him that. Will he stay or will he go? I don't know. So that's something to look up for next year for the Bucks. For the Lions, Amon St. Brown, James Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Reynolds, Goff, Sam Laporta. Bro. I mean, what's his name? I think Gardner Johnson came back for that game.
Yeah.
After coming with an injury. So, I mean, after winning that game, they should be on momentum. Now they're going to have to head into San Francisco and try to beat them. Buddy. Man, it's just that stadium is so hard to win in there, especially when McCaffrey is such a dog. But like, hey, I think that game's gonna be a shootout. I'm gonna say,
hey, Green Bay went in there and almost pulled it off. So
that's what I'm saying. Now, this is so hard because if Debo, I didn't know if Debo plays though. Does Debo play? Because he's questionable.
It's 50-50.
If Debo plays, San Francisco. If he doesn't, Lions.
Yeah, but if Debo, let's say hypothetically, right? Let's say Debo does play. This late in the season, though, especially in a moment like this, I mean, would you even want him to play, though? I wouldn't want him to play. I mean, he's not gonna be coming off hot off an injury.
The 49ers cannot afford to miss another opportunity at a Super Bowl. They can't.
Yeah,
because everybody on the NFC is gonna come up. I mean, they're not going to win anyways. So the Ravens are winning everything. But just making the Super Bowl gives them a chance. Just knowing that they're just right there. What do they need?
Yeah, true.
I don't know what it is they need. I really don't, because they have a stacked team. Is it quarterback? Is it a quarterback that can run it? Because Brock Purdy is more of a stationary. But I just don't know what they need.
Sometimes it's just luck.
Hey.
All right, let's talk about the last one. Chiefs and Bills. Taylor Swift was in attendance. Buffalo fans shoveled out the stadium once again for $20. There was no complimentary food this time, though. Man, Stephon Diggs.
He's standing.
Could have had it. Went right through his hands. I'm telling you, it's like I said at the beginning. Will they ever get over the hump? Will they ever get it? Like Josh Allen, honestly, he had a couple deep bombs towards the end, and there were good throws, and his receivers just couldn't catch it. And it's almost like, dang, like the only thing positive he has in his life right now is he's dating Haley Steinfeld. But like, it's frustrating, you know. You do all this in the season. You're inconsistent as heck in the season. You come back, you blow the Dolphins out the water, you win the division, and then you can't win. You can't win. Right when we think every year, oh, we got the Chiefs right where we want them. They're not that good this year. They somehow end up in the AFC Championship game. Like Patrick Mahomes in his career, which is crazy to think. I was telling my dad, crazy stat to think about. In his entire career, he has not played in the AFC Championship game. That's wild. And it's starting to think. I know Jonka hates it, but we have to start thinking about it. If he makes the Super Bowl, and if he can win the Super Bowl, is he getting to Brady level? Like, is he on the path? I'm not saying he's there, but is he on the path?
No, I mean the path. Yeah, I would definitely argue for that too. Because again, we're talking about 3 Super Bowl championships. He's going into his 17th appearance in the playoffs. Like there's franchises that don't even have 17 appearances in the playoffs since 1927 or like 1920s when they actually were organized, right, established. I do believe, right? Because again, as a Dolphin fan, super happy that even though the Bills won 6 straight games, the one loss they were able to get was probably the worst loss of their entire season, which I love. But I do want to say, I do believe the way that Patrick Mahomes is winning games, the way that he's been able to turn, the turnstiles of this team, of this entire motion of, oh, bad luck, Taylor Swift, all the distractions going on, whatever you want, right? Can his team still compete at a high level? I mean, he can do it within ease in the postseason, in negative degree weather, with snowballs straight to everyone's face on the sideline. Like, I'm not saying that he's had the hardest road if he is to make it, but we're talking about a Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore Ravens team with a really competitive defense. Buffalo, who was on, again, as I mentioned before, going in with 6 straight wins from out of the regular season, and then playing in negative 27-degree weather. The team they were playing in that game wasn't really much of to par. But you know what I'm trying to say? This is a hard road. And I don't even know if you can like point out one where Tom Brady had a road like this. Maybe like when he won his last one with Tampa, maybe that was a little bit more difficult going against Drew Brees and of course making it out of the NFC and then dominating Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. But I mean, this is the hardest one I've seen. Again, if he is able to do it, the hardest one Patrick Mahomes had out of all 3 of his rings, if he is to get it this year. But also, I just wanted to say one thing about Buffalo as a Dolphin fan. Then I'll do my media side. That's a whole lot of cap space, man. That's a whole lot of cap space for nothing. Stephon Diggs just standing there for 4 years. The man has destroyed college football losers for life. Standing, watching the confetti fly. Just for what, man? Just for what? So for Buffalo, paying Von Miller $14.5 million for no sacks but 5 tackles throughout 13 games he played this year. You just love to see it. A whole lot of money that they're not able to afford next season. So is it over for Buffalo? Are they going to ever get over the hump? I don't think so. I mean, someone's got to go. If it's not Stephon, it's got to be the defense, someone big.
Hey,
I mean, they're cornered. And I hate to say it as it is because, I mean, that team, they've been right there for a very long time.
Yeah.
And for a division like the AFC East that's been dominated by Tom Brady, you love to see, a team like Buffalo or a team like Miami, become a vital piece of why the NFL is on primetime all the time. But Josh Allen, he's going to be stuck there, but it's going to be a heavy price tag. They're going to have to sacrifice some guys for it. So happy for the win for Kansas City. Close one in Buffalo. Saw the tears from one of the guys that probably has to work at 9 to 5 the next day. So, I mean, again, as a hater, you love to see it, but as a guy who covers, some football, whatever, you just know it's going to be the end of a road.
Now, my question, well, first of all, sometimes I wonder, man, Diggs should have stayed in Minnesota. It would have been a nice pairing with Justin Jefferson. Also, hey, we need another receiver up in Dallas to pair him with his brother. It would be very nice. Uh, and that was getting to what you were saying, Brandon. Jonka, do you think Buffalo, is it time for Buffalo to blow this team up?
I wouldn't necessarily say blow it up because I mean, like they were missing Gabe Davis, who's been huge for them in that 6-game win streak, and he's like one of their second best receiver. He was out, so I mean they lost a weapon, and that could have easily helped Josh Allen in that game. So I wouldn't say blow it up, but I will say there has to be some sort of change in the offensive calling or defensive calling because, bro, like the struggles that the Chiefs had all year on offense, bro, and how one dimensional they are. Just give it to Kelsey the majority of the time, and you still couldn't stop that. You didn't double him or triple him, and yet somehow, some way, he was still getting open. I'm sorry that I'm putting that on the defensive coordinator. Um, there were some plays where the referees were not calling offensive holding on the Chiefs, but I digress. Um, it's I wouldn't say blow it up. Just make some changes. You Josh Allen is still Josh Allen. Make some because I know Stephon Diggs is gonna ask for some money. So if he's gonna stay, you're gonna give him that bag, and that's gonna kind of hurt you a little bit. But if you're willing to get rid of him, I would at least try looking for somebody in the. I know Mike Evans might be available. Justin Jefferson might be available. Maybe some other people might be available. If you can't afford Stephon Diggs anymore, get some good pieces. No, I'm sorry, Buffalo. You have to give him the bag. You can't lose Stephon Diggs. You can't. If you do that, then you're gonna have to give Gabe Davis the bag, and he's not as good as you. So yeah, no. If you're gonna be competitive in the AFC East with the Dolphins, who are gonna go on a revenge season this next season, you gotta you gotta man up, bro. And then my Patriots are with a new coach, and then the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. You gotta fix your problems quick.
Now, I have my person in mind already. I've been tweeting about it. I've been saying it. Who do you guys think should be NFL Comeback Player of the Year? For me, it's Baker Mayfield.
I'm gonna stick to my guns, right? I still think Joe Flacco when he's able to do like the Browns, and again, we're talking about the Browns team that got blown out by the Texans, right? A guy that got breakdanced on in a wild card game. But I honestly do think that Joe Flacco, coming again off the couch, Flacco, right, just coming out of nowhere from free agency, just thought he was already retired and pushing this Browns team to a playoff spot that no one expected. I mean, they almost got the number 2 seed in the AFC at the end of the year. So I think that from that story, I think yes, definitely. I mean, again, playoffs do have a huge part in that decision, but I think just what he's able to do during the regular season, I think it was enough.
Now, can we at least agree, though, before Janka says his, that both of the guys that we have just mentioned are, and I'm not saying this specific individual is not deserving, but again, the award shouldn't be just given just to be given. It should be given because of results and the way that you played this year. Both the guys we mentioned, do you feel like they're more deserving than Damar Hamlin?
I would say I think they're more deserving than a guy who couldn't even make a 4th down conversion off a fake punt. So I would say so, yeah.
Okay. Chanka?
I get it. You try to whoever says yes to Damar Hamlin. Listen, I get your angle. Try to be emotional. You trying to remember what happened last year. It's what happens this year. It's come back. You come back as a player, and what do you do when you come back? He did nothing, bro. You did nothing. You're squat. So
I get what they're trying. I get it. Like it's a remarkable thing. It's almost like the same thing in soccer when Christian Eriksen collapsed on the field in the Euros, and then he comes back. But when Eriksen came back and he was playing with Brentford and later Manchester United, guy was playing great.
Yeah.
And it was remarkable to see how he came back from that. And still, it's remarkable to see how Hamlin came back from something like that. But still, you got to produce stuff on the field. The award is for stuff on the field.
Like, you can argue TJ Watt every single year. He's either injured for a whole season, comes back, plays great, defensive player of the year. Or the year before that, it was Joe Burrow with a torn ACL, comes back the next season and makes the Super Bowl and nearly wins it but loses. Does he become comeback player of the year? He wasn't. So that Damar Hamlin argument is no.
Yeah.
It's either Baker Mayfield or, like Brandon said,
Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco.
Well, I like them both, so.
I mean, maybe even just do like an honoree thing, right? Like something in the sense of we acknowledge, and of course we all do. You know what I mean? Like we all acknowledge Hamlin, being able to be back on the field, medically recover as he has. I mean, it's a really astounding, especially in a game like football where it's so aggressive and the injuries are just as worse. So, I mean, there's got to be something for him. I don't think they wouldn't come back player of the year, but it's got to be something.
No, I know Damar Hamlin's injury was like, it did look kind of bad. But then I could also say O'Toole, after having two really bad performances, being like dizzy and then being like this on the floor, and then coming back this season and putting up those numbers. Why is Tua not being mentioned?
Yeah, that was scary too. That was another thing too.
That was scary.
Yeah. Because that was it. And again, that was in Cincinnati too, which is a very, you know what I mean? Yeah. So again, not trying to compare the two, but
hey.
So if you guys know, this past a couple days ago, actually, it was a special day for the city of Miami. Number 40, Udonis Haslem, was raised to the rafters. This should be a great conversation because I know Jonka has been controversial over UD over the last couple of years. Look, I love UD, man. I love everything that he stands for. I think he's real. I think, like they call him, he's the OG. He's the only player aside from Kobe Bryant and Dirk Nowitzki that have spent 20-plus years with the same franchise. I think that he brings valuable leadership to the Miami Heat. And even though he's not coaching, he's still in the ears of those Miami Heat players and trying to help their way possible to get them another championship. Man, I think it was special. And I think he wanted, man, I wish he would have said his speech. He had a speech prepared, but he said he was too emotional and he did not want to give the speech. Jonko was actually at my house when this ceremony was happening. Something that was really emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I got a little like teary-eyed. His parents used to go to every single game to watch him. And it was a first class. And this is why people consider the Miami Heat a first class organization. Those same seats that his parents used to sit on, they gave him those original seats to him to take home. And now, in replacement of those seats in the arena, they put the plaque of his parents' names on those two seats. So if you happen to buy tickets and it happens to be those seats and you sit there, you'll see Udonis' parents' names on those two seats. It was just a special moment. It was emotional. He got emotional. But I have to say, favorite UD moment for me has to be Tyler Hansbrough cuts D-Wade open on the eyebrow, and UD checks into the game and just goes, not even for the ball, just immediately goes for the face of Tyler Hansbrough and cuts Tyler Hansbrough and starts bleeding too. Man, if that doesn't embody Heat culture, I don't know what does. So congratulations to UD. And he has a great podcast, by the way. If you guys want to check that out, it's great. He says that if he ever sees Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce in 7-Eleven, they're going at it. So it's a great podcast. So, but yes, congratulations to UD.
Yeah, I mean, for the podcast perspective, again, I'm glad that he has respect for like Tatum and Brown and the new Celtics.
Yeah.
I mean, it just tells you of those old Heat Celtic rivalries. I mean, it started there and it's going to keep on going forever. But for UD, I mean, again, as you mentioned before, Danny, it's like he's the embodiment of Miami, right? I mean, went to school in Miami, actually went to UF for his collegiate career, and then is a free agent for the Miami Heat, his hometown team, leader in rebounds, leader in Heat culture, leader in mentality of that. And, again, we all know it's D Wade's house, but I mean, UD was there to see all the pavement. So for him to get that type of honor, retire the banners, I mean, it's just another one that's bound to come with more. And I mean, as you mentioned before about the podcast that UD has, I mean, there's like, honestly, I haven't seen so many people that are interested in Miami Heat history more than ever than now. Like, I'm saying this as a perspective of what's to come for Miami, because for the franchise itself, as is being studied, and for me as a big NBA guy, right? There's always a documentary about the Pistons or like the Celtics or the Lakers or, I mean, even the Chicago Bulls. But now people are starting to be like, okay, so what has Pat Riley done through this time? Like, who is Tim Hardaway? Who is Alonzo Mourning? Like, what was Pat Riley really like when he bought, 20% of the Heat's franchise? So it's stuff like that where it's not only just Miami, but it's also, it's a moment for Heat culture. I mean, this whole past 2 months with D Wade's statue announcement and then, UD's banner being raised, it's a moment for Miami, and the whole world is taking notice of basketball.
Look, and after D Wade's statue, I would be in agreement of putting a statue for UD. I really would. And it's pivotal to think about 2006 NBA Finals in Dallas. He got the last couple of rebounds that helped the Heat keep the Mavericks away. So he played a pivotal role in those finals. Junk, anything on UD?
No, not much. I mean, you guys pretty much said everything. Great career. My 305 guy, legit. From the city, represents. Yeah. Unfortunately, he did play for the Gators. Which you didn't mention in the speech. But overall, yeah, I know I have been controversial. I mean, I still believe in what I said. Like,
for good reason.
He could have been taking a little backseat, in retirement and let somebody else, maybe another star, come in, but for playing time. But that's it. That's in the past right now. But everything he's given to the team is legendary. I hope he continues to help the team and obviously develop and mentor Bam Adebayo into becoming a better player, because we need that this year. But let's go Heat, I guess.
Now this one's gonna be good. This was our plug of the week. Man, I saw this notification last night and I watched the video. In the beginning, it looked bad. But after this morning, I saw the slow motion. I was like, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, if you can see our plug of the week, it's Caitlin Clark. Ohio State upsets Iowa. There was fans rushing the court. And there was this one fan, bumps. They collide to the fan and Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark goes down. Looks like she was injured. Her teammates are upset. They're just like kind of blocking everyone out. Security comes on over. When I saw it, I was like, man, like maybe she got hit in the face or something. I don't know. Maybe it was bad. And this morning I saw slow motion. And I'm like, I'm not sure on that one, Chief. Do you guys think it was a flop?
Look, there was a put that hashtag up, man. Don't put hashtag sus. But look, I think that, I mean, again, we have to talk about the fan, right? We have to break it down a little bit, right? So we're talking about a fan that's running, not even paying attention. I got the phone now. We're on the court. We're storming the court, right?
College teenage girl.
Straight through, like the best women's basketball player in collegiate sports, right? Like, doesn't even know. This girl's going like 1 to like 1,000, right? With the phone, not paying attention into like one of the best like athletes in college. And yeah, I don't think it's a flop. I mean, shoot, have you seen people rushing in excitement for like storming the court? They run. I'm telling you. So, I mean, I guarantee that fan, and funny enough, the fan runs into Clark, turns around like, oh, okay, and then runs back into the storm, just like jumping up and down Ohio State. I'm just like, I don't think that was a flop at all. But it definitely does tell you a little bit of things, because I think the weirdest things is like in some colleges, they don't even allow people to storm the court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it might be for that reason, but I don't think it was a flop.
Now, later on in the night last night, I got another notification that a men's player was collided into as fans were rushing the court. And it brings up the conversation. I know you just said that some schools don't allow their students or fans to rush the court. Should there be a rule to prevent this from happening, that people shouldn't rush the court until the other team is off of the court, or even the media? Because sometimes the media can be vicious.
Yeah.
Or even the media. People should just hold off until, the other team is safely off of the court.
Yeah, I think, I mean, again, from my experience, because there's only been one time as a fan, I went to go watch Florida versus Auburn, where Jabari Smith was still in college and on the Auburn team, and Florida was able to, beat them. And Florida, very notorious for, hey, we're better than this. Don't storm the court. Don't storm the court. They had a few people storming the court in that one. And, again, I was watching people getting tackled down by security. Some security guard, like, doing like a WWE move, like stunner, like Cold Stone Steve Austin on the hardwood. Like, people are getting like arrested, but you can't stop everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even if
control.
Exactly. So even if there was a rule, I don't think a single person would even it's the same way where it's like, if in football, for college football, taking down a goalpost or whatever, like no one's gonna be like no one's gonna be like, how dare you? You know what I mean? Like, just pay the fine. You know what I mean? So for what I would probably finish it off with, media side, no member of the media should be storming a court unless you're part of the content team, right?
Yeah.
For that team. But the fan side, I mean, you can go to jail or whatever, but you're going to have the time of your life doing it. So even if a rule is to be placed, those fans are still going to find a way to get on that court.
Jonka, do you think it was a flop?
100%. Like, if she's coming this way and I'm going towards her direction and I'm running towards her and I don't see her, I'm just an idiot. And then, I was like, I'm not going to look like an idiot on TV. Oh. No.
But she's going like 100 miles an hour.
No, I think it's a flop. But for addressing the fan thing, if you put a rule in place saying, okay, you have to wait for all media to get off the court, so then no, because then the feeling in the moment is gone. So you're like, nah, forget it. I don't want to do it now. It's like if I hit the game winner in the national championship, are you gonna tell me that I have to wait for everybody to clear out the court for me to run in? Nah, I'm gonna run in. I don't care what happens. I'm running it in.
Guys running in like the Travis Scott concert.
If Shaq is the security guard, I'm running through Shaq. So I'm just letting everybody know. Do not take it. It's a part of the sport, bro. The fans go pay to see the game, and if they want to run into the court, let them run on the court. It's their college. It's their college.
Yep.
Final topic of the night. Is Conor McGregor ever going to return to the octagon and to the UFC? Now, we know on January 1st, New Year's Day, came out with a video, and he said June 29th in Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena, he will be fighting Michael Chandler. He made that announcement, but UFC didn't make any official announcement about it. And actually, this past weekend on Saturday night, UFC 297, they asked Dana White about it. It was, I don't know, it could have been interpreted through a lot of things. He said that Conor would not be fighting in June, and that whenever Conor is going to fight, we will be the first to know. But he had a smirk on his face. So people were kind of like, is there something he knows that we don't? Is he planning for Conor to be part of something? Is Conor going to be part of UFC 300, the special UFC 300 card? Are they going to put him in there and put that the main event? But yeah, he said Conor is not going to be fighting in June. So people are starting to wonder, is this guy ever going to come back to the UFC?
I wouldn't look. I think that Jorge Masvidal making an announcement that he's back, like a few months after his retirement. I mean, we have seen that many times in UFC and also in other different things like WWE and whatnot.
Boxing.
Yeah, it's a real possibility. I wouldn't be shocked about it. And for a guy like Conor, like, he needs it. You know, I mean, I think we talked about this Conor McGregor thing like back and forth a lot for a few episodes, and
Yeah.
I'm always seeing him as he's kind of struggling in the media, like without UFC. Like I don't know if there's a lot of like things going on from like a rock to hold on to, right? And I hate to say it as it is, right? But Conor, I think he'll fight again because he needs to fight again.
I think people kind of see him. People have been saying like he's more of like Instagram model now that's reliving on the past, talking about his past and like talking about his whiskey proper number 12, and that's about it. And that's all he's doing is just barking. But Jonko, what do you think?
Do I think he's going to? I would say yes. I do think because he's that kind of guy that wants to be in the face of the publicity, and he's a that like showboating kind of guy, fast talker, like he talks crap, the showboater. So I would assume yes. Does he need to? No.
He doesn't.
He has millions, bro. Just retire, go with your girlfriend, wife, kids, travel the damn world, bro. Like be a dad. Like you don't need to fight anymore, bro. Like why are you gonna put yourself through that just to fight again? What do you need the money? Are you broke? Like what is it? Like it doesn't add up why he needs to fight again. But I mean, if he's gonna fight again, yeah, I would assume so because he's he's probably, even if he just comes back right now, he's probably the biggest face in UFC if he were to come back again. So make money. So
At this point, the only reason why Conor is fighting is because he loves it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. I mean, he's accomplished everything. That's the only reason why he doesn't need the money, as Janka said. It's the only reason why I would see him come back. But you know what? I also think that Conor struggles with accepting the way that his career has gone after facing Khabib Nurmagomedov. I think that when you were up here at the top, he was the double champ of the UFC. He has struggled to accept that he has gone downhill. Now, granted, anytime Conor McGregor fights, I mean, you just look at it, like, he's not fighting. He's been out for 2 years after his leg break against Dustin Poirier, and the guy is still probably the face of the UFC.
Yeah.
Like, he still gets high demand. Every time he fights, it's going to be the highest earning gate because of who he is.
I would say if I'm Conor, bro, if I'm going to come back and then risk my body again, I'm fighting the number one fighter in the UFC. There's no reason to fight nobody. Just give me who's the number one fighter in the UFC right now.
Well, in his division,
yeah.
I mean, in his division is tough, man. I mean, there's still
because
if he wants to be that guy. There's no reason for him to fight if he's not gonna come back full force. Show everybody that you are actually still the guy. If not, stop fighting.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, if he survives more than 2 rounds against the number one guy in his class, I'd be shocked. 2 years out of the sport. And the last time you see he had a broken leg. I don't know.
Him coming back and fighting a regular Joe Schmo when he likes to talk so much crap. I want to see him come out. If we're gonna fight again for real, because I want you to fight for real.
Yep.
Don't fight nobody. Fight the number one fighter in your class. Either it's Usman, Jones, I don't know who else.
Look, honestly, if you ask me, I'm thinking, look, just for the pay-per-view, Colby Covington, because why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Hey, why not?
That'll be the best PR moment to ever happen in life.
Another Nate Diaz fight?
Bro, like, in his division, man, is tough because we got Justin Gaethje. Michael Chandler is not bad. I mean, Charles Oliveira, I mean, that's tough. Dustin Poirier is in his prime right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all those guys right there, Makachev, I mean, dude, all those guys right there are a tough fight for him. It's going to be tough.
Because if his money's not the issue, then why not fight him? If money's not the issue, then why not fight him?
He wants to get some W's.
Yeah.
Let him ease in. Let him ease in back into it.
Freaking Jonko wants to get his head chopped off right at the beginning, bro. Oh, man. But anyways, that is our time tonight. We thank you guys just for tuning in, week out. This is only our second episode of the new year. Stay tuned to all of our social media, TikTok, Instagram, X, YouTube, and of course, Twitch. We have some fun content coming up, and especially in February as well. I haven't announced that yet, but it will be arriving pretty soon. So again, thank you guys. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week for a brand new episode.
Keep your eye out.